So yesterday, just I given demo class on cloud computing. Now today, so we are going to discuss about the topics which we are going to learn in AWS. It's the content which we are going to learn in AWS. So briefly, one by one, I will explain. So training prerequisite is already explained you. Absolute beginners, no prior AWS experience is necessary. Previous system administration or development knowledge would be added advantage. System administrators interested in deploying application on AWS. So cloud computing enthusiasts. So these are the requirements to learn this. So system requirements you need, no need to set up any further requirements in your system. Just to, you need to create a AWS account. You need one internet connection. Most of the services comes with AWS free tier eligible only. So whatever we are going to practice, so they are come with most of the services with free tier only, no need to pay the charges. So if you are using Windows, you can use Putty or Putty Keygen software to browse your AWS management console account. So if it is a Linux or Mac OS, default terminal. So whatever the terminal you are going to use in Linux or Mac OS, so by using the terminal only, you can access your AWS management console instances. So no need to install any third-party softwares. So these are the requirements we need. So first, the contents which we are going to, what you are going to learn in AWS Solutions Architect Associate course. The first one, Amazon EC2. So EC2 means Elastic Compute Cloud. Simply you can explain launching the virtual servers from the cloud. So whatever the laptop you are having, whatever the operating system installed, that is physical operating system, physical host. But whatever the server you are accessing from the internet in cloud, that is called in AWS EC2 instance. So Elastic Compute Cloud. In this session, the first topic, what are the benefits of EC2? Use cases. What are the features? What are the different types of instances? So different types of instances is nothing but, for example, I have a Lenovo laptop, that is one of the hardware. Dell, another hardware. Like in a Lenovo also, we have different types are there. So Core 2 dual core, or i3 5th generation, 7th generation, 10th generation. So with the graphic card, without graphic card. So 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, like that. So different types are there. Like in cloud also, we can have different types of instances are available depending upon your requirement. So which type of instance is suitable for your applications or databases or web applications, whatever it may be, gaming servers, online streaming servers, applications they are developing on. So depending upon that, you have to launch the particular instance type. That is we are going to discuss in our first class, Amazon EC2. It's nothing but a server operating system. That is a ready-made servers. We have Windows servers are available, Linux servers are available, whatever the suitable servers are for your application. So you are going to launch that servers. So we are going to discuss about what is EC2 instance. So what are the benefits? What are the use cases? What are the features? What are the different types of instances? Like we are going to discuss in the class first one. Next, Amazon EBS. EBS means elastic block storage. So remember one point, block level storage. Block level storage means once you buy your laptop, for example, just now you went to market, you bought a laptop. So you have a 500 GB disk or 1 terabyte disk. That is block level. So nothing is there in that device. So what you are doing while installing Windows or while installing Linux, you are formatting the disk as per your requirement. So depending upon your requirement, you are formatting C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, like that. That is one block level device you are getting from your laptop disk. So you are formatting that. You are installing operating system, whatever the data is stored, you are storing your data. Like whenever you are working with cloud, when you launch a server, Windows server instance or Linux server instance, by default internally one disk they will provide. Disk is nothing but storage. That is called root volume. Root volume means operating system disk. So if it is a Linux, 8 GB space they will provide. If it is a Windows server instance, they will provide 30 GB of the space. That is called root volumes. While launching instances, automatically Amazon will provide the root volume. Volume is nothing but the storage. So technically here disk we are calling in internally. So 8 GB for Linux, 30 GB for Windows. Okay. We launched instance. Next, we need additional storage. So the Windows server instance administrator or Linux server instance administrator, so they have to call to cloud administrator. So I need to manage database. I need to install some applications. I need more storage. They will contact you. As a cloud administrator, you have to create one disk space as a volume that is called EBS volume, elastic block storage volume. So in this class, we are going to discuss introduction to Amazon EBS. What is elastic block storage? So what is the size and capacity? For example, what is the maximum size of the disk available in the market now? Now in the market, what is the maximum size of the disk is available? That is 2 terabyte. So, but your Linux instance administrator require 6 terabyte space. Generally, it is not possible. But in cloud environment, so you can create a 6 terabyte volume. That 6 terabyte volume you can attach to your running instance. Linux server is running. So I need more space. So as a cloud administrator, your work is you can create 6 terabyte or 2 terabyte, how much they required, that type of size of the volume you have to create. You have to attach the volume to the running instance. So that is block level storage you are going to attach. So for example, I attach 2 GB space of the volume. So then your work is completed. Then they can do the partitions as per their requirements. 2 terabyte I assign to you. You are a Windows administrator. So the 2 terabyte you can do 500 GB, 500 GB, 500 GB, 500 GB, 4 partitions. Or the 2 terabyte you can do 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte, 2 partitions. So as per your requirement, you can do the partitions. But our teamwork is assigning the space to them. Okay, we attached on 2 terabyte volume. After that, they done the partitions, they are storing their databases. Again, you have some work is there. Whatever the volume you attach it to their servers, you have to take the snapshots, volume snapshots. So snapshots are nothing but backups. So maybe they can lose their data, database is corrupted, they can lose entire data. So like as a cloud administrator, so you can take the snapshot of the volumes. That snapshots, you can move from one region to another region also. That is, we are going to discuss in our class, how to move the snapshot from one region to another region. Next, here we are going to discuss that class, introduction to Amazon EBS, size and capacity, maximum capacity, what are the benefits, what are the use cases, what are the different volume types in AWS cloud. So what are the EBS snapshots? What are the features of elastic block storage? So this is an important topic because why we enter into the cloud computing, we can have a unlimited storage. So for storage purpose, we are going to use cloud. So the storage management also you have to do as a cloud administrator. That is the concept we are going to discuss in the class EBS, Elastic Block Store. Next one, Elastic IP address. See, whatever the public IP assigned by the AWS is not permanent. Remember, whatever the public IP assigned by the AWS is not permanent. Every time it will change. So that we can give permanent IP. It is called elastic IP address. So simple example I will give. My laptop is there. I have a storage. Sorry, network connection. Change adapter settings. See, right side you can see my Wi-Fi is running. So that is the reason I am accessing internet. So internally my laptop has one NIC card, network interface card. So I am not connected to network here, but go to properties, go to TCP IP. See, I given one permanent IP, 192.168.0.20. This is fixed. So top of that, he have an option, obtain an IP address automatically. This is automatic IP address. Like cloud people, when you launch one instance, auto assigned public IP, they will allocate to you. So that is not permanent every time. Every time you launch instance, automatically your permanent IP address is going to be changed. But once your permanent IP address changing keep on, for example, on that particular instance, if I configure any website, so every day I cannot update my customers. Today is my IP address is this. Tomorrow is my IP address is this. I cannot update to my customers. What you have to do, you can assign one elastic IP address, means permanent IP that is fixed. But this elastic IP address is chargeable. Remember, This is chargeable. So immediately while we are practicing, just we can configure an elastic IP address. We can check by using this elastic IP address, you are accessing my website or not. So I am going to check one time, then immediately within 1 hour I can remove it. So elastic IP, static IP, fixed IP, permanent IP, technical words are different, but the work is same. No need to change any IP address. I need a fixed IP address, that is nothing but elastic IP. This elastic IP address I can attach to my instance. By default, Amazon will give one IP to instance to launch the instance. Every time I am launching, it will change. But for that reason, my customers are getting problems to access my website. So I can configure elastic IP address. So this is chargeable, but immediately while practicing, immediately you can practice it, you can check the output, you can remove it. So they are not going to be charged for that. Next, AWS identity, access and management. First, simply I will explain OS level. So Windows Server operating system, for example, the administrator account name is administrator. If it is Linux servers, Unix servers, the administrator account name is root account. The administrators can have unrestricted privileges on the servers. Means they can do anything. They can run any program. They can do any task on the servers. And also you can check in your AWS management console account. Just I am showing you. Every day I am logging as a administrator account. So what is the username? Root. See, root user, account owner that perform tasks requiring unrestricted access. For example, if you created a account, you are the root user. So you can have unrestricted access. You can do anything in AWS management console account, whatever the services are there. So every service you can run. But real-time organization scenario will not like that. They will not going to give the root password. So they will create a user account is called IAM user. So user within an account that perform daily tasks. So whatever the permissions I given to you, that tasks only you can run. So in Windows Server, the concept is called delegation control. In Linux, sudo users. In Solaris, RBAC, role-based access control. Simply in interview point of view, you can explain what is IAM in AWS cloud. Assigning the root privileges, not all privileges. Assigning the sum of the root privileges to number of users is nothing but IAM users. See, everybody cannot perform every task. They will not give that permissions. So I can give permissions for users. They can manage EC2 instances full access. Other users, I can give storage management. So EC2 users cannot access storage. Storage users cannot access EC2. So I can divide the privileges. I can assign the privileges to the different types of users. So the concept is called AWS Identity and Access Management. So introduction to AWS Identity Access Management. What are the features? Multi-factor authentication. See, multi-factor authentication is nothing but two-way authentications. Two-way authentication means, for example, we are having everybody online banking accounts. So every day you are giving your credentials, you are logging to your account, you are transferring the money. I am also, when I required, I want to transfer the money for some people, I can log into my account, I am transferring the money. So while you are transferring the money, they will send one OTP, one-time password. See, already I given my credentials. Even also they are going to send some codes to you. That is two-way authentication. That is called two-way authentication, multi-factor authentication. How to enable it? So I can create a user account, IAM user, Shiva. Shiva, I given some credentials. This is your username. This is in password. Even I can assign some secondary factor authentication that is called multi-factor. Even if he give the credentials, so then also he can provide a code. So for that we have some devices are there, virtual multi-factor applications are there. That is we are going to discuss in our classes. Virtual MFS. So multi-factor authentications we are going to discuss. Next, user security credentials. So which type of user passwords you are going to access? So access keys you can assign, and certificate issues, you can issue the certificate, authentication certificates. Some temporary security credentials also you can assign. So how to manage the user permissions and policies? So which policies we are going to assign to the users? So everything we are going to discuss in the class IAM, identity and access management. Next, Amazon S3 storage. So just now I explained you elastic block storage. So this is, I told you, block level storage. Now again another storage technology came, that is Amazon S3 storage. This is object level storage. Simple example again. Go to my computer. So first my disk is object level, block level. I divided partitions here. So D drive I am taking example, or E drive. So here what I done, I stored my data, folders, files, movies, whatever it may be. Means just I am uploading. I am not done this partition. Somebody, they are giving me space to store my data into their space, E drive or D drive. In cloud also, see, is my voice is clearly coming or not?
Yes, coming. It's okay for me.
Okay.
Yes, okay for me.
Okay, thank you. So that is object level storage. So this is very important class in cloud. So whatever the data in your computer, your laptop, either videos or photos or important documents, you can upload into your Amazon S3 storage. So by default 5 GB of the storage, they are going to allow you to store in that Amazon S3 at free tier eligible. So remaining are chargeable. That is we are going to discuss in the class. So introduction to Amazon S3, S3 benefits, use cases, key features, different storage classes. Different storage classes means frequently accessed storage, standard frequently accessed, standard infrequently accessed data, and glacier storage. Frequently access. My laptop only I will explain you. So frequently, every day, morning to evening, I am going to take the classes of Linux administration and AWS. So every day, so commonly I can open these folders, AWS class practical, PPTs, AWS class wise PPTs I can open, I can explain to the AWS students. If it is Linux class, I can open my Linux class new, this Linux chapters going to file system management, booting processing. This is daily I am going to access. But nowadays, I am not taking the classes of, in earlier days, I am going to taking the classes of other servers like Windows Server Administration. So nowadays I am not taking because of I don't have any time to take the classes of Windows Server Administration. So Windows 2016 class. See the complete administration classes. Now I am not taking these classes. I am not using this folder. For showing your purpose only I opened. And VMware classes also I am not taking now. VMware administration. So this type of data, that VMware related data, what Windows Server related data. So I am not opening these folders from last 3 years or 4 years. But every day I am opening these classes because I am taking the regular classes of AWS and Linux Server Administration. Remaining data I am not using. But they are using my space here. But this is my laptop. I no need to pay money to anybody for keeping my data into my drives. But in cloud environment, what they are telling in cloud, whatever the frequently accessed data you can access, they are going to be charged. But infrequently accessed data also you are keeping your standard storage class. So they will be charged. That is the reason what we are going to write. We are going to write one life cycle rule. If the data which is not using from last 30 days or 60 days, move into standard storage to infrequent access. Means not frequently accessing from last 60 days, automatically we are going to write a life cycle rule. Automatically it will move into infrequent access because so the price is somewhat less from standard storage class. Okay. The data is transferred to infrequent access storage class. In infrequent access data also not using from last 60 days. For example, total 120 days completed. But even I am not accessing the data, means not usable for me. But the data is important. But now I am not using. But this type of scenario, so in that particular scenario is not usable. What it will do, it will move the data from infrequent access to Glacier storage. This is I will explain, like backup. This is very low cost. When I require the data, again I can take back from the data from Glacier to infrequent access, infrequent to standard storage class. This is the 3 types of storage classes we are going to discuss in the class Amazon S3. And versioning, this is also important concept in versioning. So for example, today I am a developer, for example, today one code I developed, today my work is completed. Whatever I developed today's code, that is working fine. I uploaded to S3 storage. So I am not enabled versioning, for example. So tomorrow again I came to my organization. I started from where I stopped yesterday. I started to continue the coding. So tomorrow what I did, that is failed. That is also uploaded to S3 storage, but that is failed. So again, I have to start from the scratch, beginning onwards, to write the code again, because of I am not enabled versioning. If you enabled versioning, what happens? Today, whatever the code you developed, which is successfully completed, if versioning is enabled, so you can upload it. Tomorrow, whatever you done, that is failed, that is also uploaded. But you can have an option. So whatever I failed to execute the code, whatever I written tomorrow's code, I can remove that file. Whatever my successfully last code applied, from there I can start. I cannot go from the beginning onwards again. So if you enable versioning, the previous good state onwards you can come. Whatever the failed state is there, you can remove them. That is versioning. Now S3 pricing. So how much price? 5 GB already I told you, free of cost. If you cross the 5 GB limit for bytes, how many bytes, how much price they are going to, 1 cent or 2 cents or 5 cents, depending upon the storage class. and S3 data size, how much data size you can upload, and how to configure your website on S3, serverless website. Remember, serverless website. Serverless. Remember, serverless means whenever you want to host any website, you require either Linux operating system or Windows operating system, server operating system. If it is Windows server operating system, you need to configure IIS, Internet Information Service, configuring websites in Windows servers. If it is Linux, Apache Web Server. So you are a web developer, you developed one website, you want to host it. So you need to contact Linux administrator or you need to contact Windows administrator. I developed one website, so I have a website files are there. I want to host my website. So they have to set up Apache Web Server or IIS. They can make it host website. But in Amazon S3, you can host your own website without having backend any operating system. How to configure static, how to host static website on Amazon S3 storage. That is also practically we are going to see. Backend without any operating system. So directly you can develop one website, directly you can host your website. So that website can access by your customers, whatever it may be. And cross-region replication. So cross-region replication means, for example, Amazon S3 Mumbai location I am having. I am uploading some data in Mumbai location, means Mumbai region. Automatically the data is going to be updated in Singapore region. Automatically it is not possible. So you have to configure CRR, cross region replication. So then whatever you are uploading your data in Mumbai region automatically replicate on Singapore region. Accidentally, if you remove the data in Mumbai region, so already you have a replicated data in Singapore region. Again, you can came back, you can take back that data to Mumbai region. That is also how to configure. So here, this is a important one. Amazon S3 storage. This is object level storage. EBS is the block level storage. So Glacier just now I explained to you. Again, I am explaining. Amazon Glacier is a secure, durable, and extremely low cost storage service for data archiving, like backup. When I required, I can take back. Amazon Glacier is optimized for data that is rarely accessed and a retrieval time for several hours. So for retrieving that, it will take several hours, but now 2017 onwards, so the retrieval time will come from hours to minutes also, depending upon how much data you are retrieving. This is Glacier storage. But to directly, you cannot keep data into Glacier. That is not possible. So first your data is going to be S3 storage. From there only, it will move to Glacier storage. Now, what is VPC? Virtual Private Cloud. This is the backbone of AWS. This is the backbone of AWS. So your organization is launching servers infrastructure in AWS cloud. my organization also launching my infrastructure in AWS. You have the private servers. My company also having the private servers and public servers. So all servers we are going to maintain in cloud environment. So how do you secure your network? How do I am secure my network? Then we can go for VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. So by default, whenever you create a AWS account, they will provide one default VPC. I'm going to show you everybody, every account will get default VPC. So without a default VPC, you cannot launch your instances. That is the network which is allowed to us. Just a second. Like when you go to your account, go to services, network and security, content delivery, VPC. VPCs. See, default VPC, that name they are not given. They will not give any name. I given because while taking VPC classes, I am going to create VPCs. Accidentally, one day I deleted default VPC. Whenever you delete your default VPC, which is created once your account is created, you cannot log in, you cannot launch any instance, you cannot work with AWS Management Console. So we have to contact to AWS customer care. I accidentally delete my default VPC. Please allocate to my account. That is the reason, for understanding purpose, I given the name default VPC. So by default, when you create account, they will allocate VPC. Next to subnets. 3 subnets they will allocate automatically. And internet gateway. By default, internet gateway attached to your VPC. Subnets, routing tables. By default, routing table also they will allocate to you. Routing table. Now, all these by default allocated by AWS. But our organization decided to go for our own virtual private cloud in AWS only. Then you can create your own VPC. You can create your own private subnet. You can create your own public subnet. You can create your own routing tables. You can create your own internet gateway. You can create your NAT gateway. Everything we need to configure. So understanding the default VPC, just now I showed you. Once anybody created AWS account, they will provide one internet gateway, default VPC. But our organization decided to go for our own VPC. We can isolate our network to other servers in the AWS. Then we are going to configure. So in this class, we are going to discuss what is default VPC, what is non-default VPC, what are the differences between these two, what are subnets, routing tables, internet gateways. So everything we need to configure practically. We are going to see each and every configuration step by step. We are going to discuss in VPC class. Next, auto scaling with load balancers, incremental scaling, decremental scaling. For example, Flipkart.com, there is a heavy load on Wednesday because they are going to give the offers. When there is a heavy load, one server cannot handle that much of incoming request. They need another server. 2 servers also not handling that much of incoming request, third server. So like that, depending upon the demand of the customers, they need to improve their server capacities. So like physical environment, immediately not possible. So for example, I configured one website in my laptop. So unexpectedly, so many customers, they are coming, accessing my website, e-commerce website. This is not enough. So I have to buy another laptop immediately not possible. So I have to buy it. Same website I have to set up. I can balance the load between these two. Then only the incoming request will share between the multiple servers. But in cloud environment, So we can configure auto scaling with load balancers. Automatically, depending upon the demand of your customers, it will scale up. How many instances? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that is we have to set up. Minimum how many you want to maintain, maximum how many instances we have to launch. So we have to configure the launch configurations and auto scaling groups depending upon that. So the depending upon the requirement, they will increase the instances. For example, every Wednesday Flipkart.com 9 to 1 o'clock they require 5 servers because that much of load will come into the Flipkart e-commerce website. After 1 o'clock, so gradually the incoming requests are going to be slow. So three servers are enough to handle. So by evening, 2 servers are enough to handling. So in cloud, automatically it will scale down, it will decrement. So means that another instances automatically it will terminate. So how much resources are utilizing? That much resources only you have to pay. Next, Amazon CloudWatch. It is a monitoring service in Amazon. How to monitor your EC2 instances, S3 storage, whatever it may be. So whenever my CPU utilization is greater than 70%, launch new instance. Whenever my CPU utilization is less than 15%, 15, terminate it. Unnecessarily, I don't want to pay the money because it is not utilizing. So I can CloudWatch, means I can monitor my AWS resources in the cloud. That is a monitoring tool in Amazon AWS cloud. Simple notification service. So what is going on in my AWS infrastructure? So when the EC2 instance is terminated, when it is launched, whatever it is, maybe whatever it may be, what is going on, everything I can get notification. So I can register my email account in Amazon. Automatically, I can get the event notifications. So Mumbai region, this is the reason your instance is terminated. This is the reason we launched 2 instances. Like simple notification service, we have to register your mail ID. How to do that one, we are going to discuss in the class. Next, SNS. Simple, sorry, Route 53. Route 53 is nothing but a DNS server in Amazon. Like DNS, maybe everybody knows who are in the IT environment, domain name system. It resolves names to addresses, addresses to names. So we can have millions of websites, gmail.com, google.com, yahoo.com, reddit.com, 123.com, abc.com, xyz.com. But you don't know the IP addresses of that websites because you cannot remember. For example, you can take the example of your mobile. So in your mobile, you have 500 numbers are there. All 500 numbers without names you saved, without names. So you want to call to particular person. You cannot remember which number is for which person because 500 numbers are there. So it is not possible to remember with numbers. Only you can remember your nearest persons, closest persons or family member persons numbers only. Some of the numbers only you can notify. So remaining 500 numbers you cannot call. This is for Ravi, this is for Ramu, this is for Venkat. You cannot call. That is the reason what you are going to do. First you are going to take the number of the person. Just you have to call to them. Then you can save with name. From Ravi from Mumbai, from Ramu from Chennai, like that, depending upon your relationship. So you can save the names like that. In cloud environment, we are going to launch number of websites. I cannot remember the websites with the numbers. Numbers means IP addresses. I can remember with names. If you want to remember that, you need to configure DNS, domain name service. For example, I am explaining you. Go to your laptop only, go to command prompt. Just you can type ns lookup command. Ns lookup. I want to know Gmail IP address. Type www.gmail.com. So you can assume you are calling some person with the name. For example, in my mobile, there is a name Durga Soft. So I am clicking on name, it will connect to number. So when I type gmail.com, it shows the IP address. So what is IP address? 142.250.76.69. Yahoo.com. www.yahoo.com. 202.165.107.50. Flipkart.com. www.flipkart.com. Resolving with the IP address 163.53.78.110. So if I give numbers like this 163.53.78.110 Flipkart. So for 202.165.107.49 Yahoo. If I give numbers like this, so thousands of numbers, hundreds of numbers, you cannot remember this number is for which website. But names you can easily remember: gmail.com, flipkart.com, yahoo.com. But if you want to see the IP addresses, whatever the step I showed you, go to your command prompt, ns lookup, type the domain name, it shows the IP address. Next, CloudFront. CloudFront is a content delivery network. So it will keep your web pages in the nearest place. For example, I am watching one movie. Movie means any video. The server is origin. Origin means original server is in Australia. So from my laptop, from Hyderabad, I am watching that video. So it will take more time to get that video streaming because so many requests will go to that server which is located in Australia. That is the reason configure CloudFront. So keep my web pages on the nearest location, maybe Mumbai location. So it improving access speed for downloading the content or we are watching the content. That is CloudFront. Next, Elastic Beanstalk. So with Elastic Beanstalk, you can quickly deploy and manage applications in the AWS cloud without having to learn about the infrastructure that runs those applications. For example, you are a Java developer. You develop one code, you want to deploy it. So directly by using Elastic Beanstalk, open that one, just deploy your code, upload your code, automatically backend platform, load balancers, auto scaling, CloudWatch, security groups, everything will managed by the cloud. Automatically it will create depending upon your cloud and which platform you are going to deploy, Windows server or Linux server platform. So it will create your infrastructure and platform. So simple queues for service, simple email service, bulk messages. I want to send a bulk of message to number of people at a time. So 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, 500 people. So you can configure SQS. Simple queue is a full message queuing service that enables you to decouple and scale microservices, distributed services, and serverless applications. So in general environment, we are going to configure MQ server. So message queue server, Microsoft. So here serverless SQS is there. By using this in minutes, you can send a bulk of messages to the customers. Next, CloudFormation. So the complete infrastructure you developed in AWS Mumbai region, your organization. Again, your organization wants to start the business in Singapore region. So most of the configurations are same as it is like Mumbai region. Again, no need to come from scratch. Just CloudFormation is a service that gives developers and businesses an easy way to create a collection of related AWS and third-party resources and provision them in an orderly and predictably fashions. Just Elastic Load Balancer I configured in Mumbai region. Again, I am not going to come from the scratch onwards. Just I can take a template, I can change some names, so I can deploy it. Immediately, I can get the load balancer. Like in CloudFormation, entire infrastructure as a code. That same code you have to deploy in Singapore region. The same configurations which you configured in Mumbai region. So you can start in Singapore region. Then databases, we are going to discuss relational database service. So makes it easy to set up, operate and scale a relational database in the cloud. So it provides cost efficient and resizable capacity while automating time consuming administration tasks such as hardware provisioning, database setup, patchings and backups, everything they will take care about. Next, DynamoDB, NoSQL database server. RDS is the SQL based database server. This is NoSQL database. So elastic file system. This is another storage. This is file system level storage. So I can create one file system, 100 GB, 500 GB, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. So I can share it to multiple instances. They can mount and they can store their data in my elastic file system. Centralizedly, the data stored on the my server. This is called EFS, elastic file systems. So these are the contents we are going to discuss in our AWS classes. So if you have any doubts, please ask me.
So what's the duration of this? Is it 30 days or is it going to go beyond that?
30 to 35 days.
30 to 35 days. Okay.
So because sometimes if maybe the internet connection is not properly get, the topic will not go properly.
Mhm.
So if that type of problems will come, it goes to 35 days.
Okay.
Okay. So everything, all the videos, whatever every day I am taking classes, the complete videos I will send to you. The complete notes, what we are going to discuss in our class, step-by-step notes, I will send a document to everybody. Each and every real-time interview questions, whatever the PPTs I am going to explain in my classes, that PPTs also, theoretical PPTs also we can send. Monday to Friday only classes, Saturday and Sunday no classes. See, first once we get, first once we are getting the hands-on knowledge on AWS, then I give the guidelines for certification because we have certification centers are there. So I will guide you. So creating AWS management console is nothing but how do you create your Gmail account? For example, I am logging out from this one, my account. So just you can go for log back in. Here you have an option, create a new AWS account. Simply, here it will ask you free tier account 1 year, free tier. So your account name, login name, your email address, whatever it may be, password you can give, confirm password, account name, how you are going to log in every day, that name you can provide. Then you can go for the next steps. It will ask you organization purpose, you are using personal. So you can select personal and your current address, complete address, and your debit card details it will ask to create the account. Give the details. So automatically the account will be created. So 2 rupees they will charge. Immediately they will credit to your account. Like this, you can create the account. It is very simple. 2 minutes matter. Putty 64-bit. Putty Gen 64-bit. Both you have to download. So tomorrow our first class will start AWS introduction and architecture. So today please take the admissions. You have to pay the money. Already I told you this is the class only 3,500 last class. Next to AWS classes, we are going to charge 6,000 rupees actual price. So who are not taking admission so far, so you have to pay the money. I think you got feedback mails. Everybody can get that mail or not.
I have not got it.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, see, generally you can check it with spam also you can check. Sometimes it is going to be
Spam or updates we can check.
Yeah, there you can check. The feedback mail will come. Like the mail will come. This is Linux feedback mail. Like this one mail will come. So this is for Linux administration 6,000. So AWS also actually 6,000. This is the batch only 3,500. Like this will come. So duration of the course content, demo link, and the ICICI bank account where you have to pay the money, or else Google Pay number they will send to you. Just you can send a paid image copy to them. They will send a receipt copy to you. Okay. So tomorrow the first class will be start AWS introduction and architecture. What are the roles and responsibility of AWS administrator? That is also I will explain. So after that, so first I will explain roles and responsibilities. And then we are going to start the AWS introduction and architecture. After completion of this course, which job? So AWS administrator and AWS solutions architect associate jobs you can apply. Swapnil. AWS administrator and AWS solutions architect associate. So both are same, technical words are different. Administration. See, who are not paid money today or tomorrow by afternoon, you have to pay the money. First class tomorrow we are going to start. So each and every step, the notes I am having, so that I will send to you step by step. While you are practicing, you can practice. And all my videos, which I pre-recorded videos, I will send. And everyday class videos, what we are discussing, that everyday videos also you are going to get to your mail ID. Every 2 days, the 2 classes videos, means for weekly 2 days, you can get the mails, regular videos. So apart from that, my complete videos, previous recorded videos, and running recorded videos, complete material, and real-time interview questions and answers. So everything I will send to your mail IDs. Is there any other questions? Any other questions from anybody?
No.
Okay, thank you all. Tomorrow, the first class we are going to start in AWS. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So developers are so beneficial. Shikashing. So all are Java developers, Python developers already they are joining in my morning batch and evening batches. So you have to deploy your applications. Every developer or who are it may be, every person must be a knowledge on this course. 100% added advantage for you.
Did you get the list of emails like who already paid? I just want to double check like my email ID is there or not.
So I will ask them tomorrow. They will send the email IDs.
Okay.
I will ask them, and I will confirm the email IDs. They will send to mail me. So like this, they will send once paid.
Okay.
Tomorrow, once. So AWS mail IDs they will send to me.
Mhm.
So once tomorrow class will complete, who all the people who when paid money first class when they are going, we are going to start. So I will inform the first class is going to be start. So they will send a like this. So all mail IDs will come like list to me. So these are the total persons, 20 persons mail IDs. So I will send all the details to this mail IDs. I have to confirm them and I will get your mail IDs. Okay. Okay. Thank you all. Tomorrow we are going to communicate first class of AWS. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yes, Srinivas. Good evening.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, is there any freshers opening in AWS?
The freshers openings are there. Experience opening. Everybody can have the chances to get the job in AWS.
Yeah.
Already I told you in Hyderabad they are going to start 3 data centers in very soon. Freshers also they are going to take. They are going to give the training on that.
Okay, thank you, Srinivas.
Thank you. So thank you all. Tomorrow we'll meet. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir,
tell me. Yeah.
sir, I don't have knowledge on any software, but if I get an AWS, if I get a job.
So do you have any previous?
Yeah, I worked in Ab Initio
Initio.
ETL tool.
Okay.
After that, I worked 2 years. After that, there is a.
How much gap is there for you?
Yeah, 2017 to right now. I don't have any.
So you can do one. You can go for Linux administration also. So we can put the complete experience 3 years Linux and 2 years AWS we can put. Then you can get total 4+ of years of experience. You can put into resume. So then you can get the more package.
Okay.
Understand? That is not a problem. That much of knowledge I am going to give. Linux plus AWS. Okay.
Linux also you telling, right?
Yeah, Linux also I am teaching. So 12 o'clock one batch is going on, new batch.
Okay.
Okay.
How much cost?
Linux 6,000 rupees.
Linux 6,000. Okay.
Okay. So that is we can put the experience. That experience how to put I will tell you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all. Is there any other questions?
Nothing. My side is nothing.
Okay. Thank you all. Tomorrow we will continue the class. Okay. Okay. Thank you.